Hey, this is Taylor Momsen from The Pretty Reckless, and you are watching Front Row Live.
Hey guys, Rob here with Front Row Live Entertainment. I'm hanging out here on a rooftop in Hollywood with Taylor Momsen. How are you today? You're like 25% in on the tour. How's the tour been so far?
So far, it's been fucking awesome. It's been awesome every night. We're getting into the groove of it all, and it's loud as piss, so it's awesome.
Always a good thing.
Always a good thing.
Now, from your in between this tour and the previous tour, there was some time off in shows and such. What did the band do within that time?
Well, for the past year, we've been making a record. We've been switching labels. We are now on a rock label, which is awesome because they're they're actually asking it to be heavier, so that works for us.
Can't complain there.
Can't complain there. So we've been making a record. We had which is called Going to Hell. It's coming out early 2013,
Okay.
and that took a lot longer than expected. This time off was not meant to be such a long break because the hurricane wiped out our studio. Hurricane Sandy took everything with it, and we had to rebuild and restart and redo everything. So it took a lot longer than expected. But we are back, and we are out on the road and touring for the next 2 years around the world. So
Nice.
Awesome.
Good. And with that incident with Sandy, did that end up eventually on some of the music on the new record? Did that influence in any way?
I guess maybe in some. I mean, it definitely affected things, so I'm sure it influenced it in some ways. But I mean, the song "Going to Hell" was written actually after the hurricane, so something good came out of it.
Okay. And then when you're taking time in between records, does it become harder or easier to write the next album?
Time in between records. Yeah. Well, touring is you get in a different mindset of it. It's a tour mindset. So writing on the road is difficult, but as a writer, you're kind of constantly writing, and I'm thinking of songs right now as I'm talking to you. So it's kind of a never-ending process, and it's not like, let me sit down and write a song today. It's my line is, I always say, if I knew where inspiration came from, I'd move there.
I like that.
But I unfortunately I don't, so it's a never-ending thing. But when you get off the road, you definitely take a second to decompress and get away from everyone in the world and start to get back in the mindset of, okay, I'm creating another piece of work here now.
As you had mentioned, you are now on a rock label. So when looking for a record label for a rock artist, what key features do you want from that label?
Well, the first thing is to have other rock artists. The second thing is for them to actually really be into your music. Mm-hmm. I think that's the biggest thing that you look for in a label, is to have someone who's actually excited about what you're doing. And we found a label who really loves our stuff, so it's a good fit.
And with the way that music is evolving a lot lately, do you think rock is still relevant? Do you think it's tough to find rock bands out there?
I think there's not a lot of rock bands right now. I think rock definitely needs to have a resurgence. It happens. It's cyclical. The music industry. I've found there's always pop that always exists, and then in the '60s guitar takes over again because there's a bunch of bands that come in, and it's cooler, man. It's cooler to plug in and turn up to 10.
It's real. You're actually playing. You're actually singing.
You're actually playing. You're actually singing. It's actually real. You're actually emoting something. Like, write your own fucking songs, man. You don't need 12 writers to write one line. Like, right? If you have a bunch of writers writing your songs, you're not emoting anything. You're not saying anything. And at that point, music to me loses its soul. So I like to hear the mistakes. I think it's important, and to actually be playing and hearing. That I think that rock needs a resurgence, and I hope to be a part of it.
I'm sure you will. I mean, every record that you're putting out, every song, every performance, all I hear is positive things. So.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Now going back to the record that's coming out, what is the progress on the record? How far is it?
Well, it's finished.
Okay.
It's completed. We've shot the record cover. It's all done.
Okay.
We're waiting. But we have a video for the single is out right now, which is also called "Going to Hell." Was released worldwide on iTunes, I think yesterday, and there's a lyric video out for it now. But the music video is coming out on the 15th of October, so be sure to check that one out because it's pretty cool.
And when writing this record, I know you mentioned earlier that you write your own lyrics, but do you have full control on the lyrics, or is it something that, you know, the band gets involved as well?
Ben plays the guitar. Ben and I are the writers of the band. Okay. So it's the two of us. Some of it's just me, some of it's a combination. Each song kind of has its own identity, so it's hard to explain. But yeah, the two of us write everything.
Okay, and then how many tracks can we expect on this record?
So probably around 12, 13, and then maybe a couple leaked ones. I don't know.
All right. We'll be looking out for that too. So you also, you've been on tour with some big names, Guns N' Roses, Marilyn Manson. Any chances that we might hear something of them on this record, or any other, you know, artists?
This record is not on this record, but you never know in the future.
Okay. And then while touring with these guys, is there anything that you picked up from them that you are using now to your advantage, whether it's in performance or writing or?
Well, touring with Evanescence, Amy Lee was amazing to watch every night, and her whole, I think we learned a lot from that experience. Just her whole crew and everything ran so professionally and was so great and so nice, and I mean, she's just such a talent. So it's great to watch her every night. And I think just in general, touring with good bands makes you step up your game. So like, you know, Manson's such an amazing performer, and so you have to go on before that and be, you know,
of course.
You have to go on and not be booed off by Manson's fans. So, and then you got Guns N' Roses, which is just all you hear backstage in your ears before you walk on is, boo, fuck this opening band, give me Axl. So you're walking out to fuck you, and you have to try to win them over. So it definitely makes you step up your game when you're competing with, I mean, have you heard Axl Rose sing lately? It's like ridiculous. He's so fucking good.
Now, has there been any chances with any of these tours that, you know, you struggled with getting the fans' attention and yet it didn't happen?
That's been pretty good.
Okay.
It's actually been a pretty smooth ride.
That's good.
Which it's hard to say in rock and roll. So it's been fun. I mean, there's been worse shows than others, obviously, but you just move on.
That's good to know. Now, obviously, most of the world found out about you through, you know, acting. So is there any acting in the future for you, or do you want to stick specifically with the band? I know this is what you love to do.
This is what I fucking love to do, man. I mean, I've always wanted to play in a band, and I had to wait till I wrote a record's worth of material that I wanted people to hear, to put it out and have it be a part of the universe. But no, music forever. I mean, if Joss Whedon calls and asks me to play a superhero, I probably wouldn't say no. But unless a very specific role comes along, it's not something I'm actively pursuing by any means.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Keep doing the music. I mean, we all love it, and it sounds like it's going really well too. So
yeah, no, it's been a really, really fun tour. The fans are crazy and awesome, and it's been
only
great.
Getting better.
And only getting better, yeah.
So I know you're a fan of the Beatles. So
obviously.
I don't know if you've been following up on Paul McCartney, but what do you think of his new record that is going to be coming out?
Well, I haven't heard anything of it yet. Has anything been released yet?
He's released one song so far. It's, you know, first new material in 6 years for him.
Tour, and you live in such a bubble on tour that I'm so out of the loop on what's coming out right now. But I'm excited to hear it. I haven't heard it yet, obviously.
Okay.
I've been obsessed with the new Soundgarden record, King Animal, so that's what I've been listening to on repeat. That's the last newest release that I've heard and gotten into. But I'll definitely have to check it out, and I'm sure he's Paul McCartney. I'm sure it's amazing.
Of course. Now, I know you mentioned towards next year the record. Do you have like roughly an estimate time?
I don't know. Do I?
I don't know. Do you?
I thought you.
January, February, March, April, May.
Probably somewhere around March. I would say maybe around March. You're gonna make me say it.
All right.
I see how this works. Yeah, somewhere maybe around March.